Good morning. Good morning. How's everybody doing today? All right. All right. We are truly blessed to be here today. Opening. I'm going to go ahead and let it play right quick, and then we go ahead and get started. Yes. Having a good morning today, right? Go ahead and get started. I thank God for giving us giving us the opportunity to be here just one more day. Thank God for us being able to see each other again just one more time. We don't know the minute, second, or hour, as I always say. But I thank God that we are truly blessed today, and we are able to congregate together. So, good morning. This is March 20th, 2022, and thank God that we are truly blessed. Right? We are truly blessed. Truly blessed. Um, so, anybody want to go ahead and pray us in?
Heavenly Father, we thank you for being able to come into your house of worship one more Sunday. We thank you for just keeping us in a sound mind, good health, and able to understand your word. We just ask your blessing upon each and every one of us. This we ask in your son Jesus' name.
Amen. Thank God for him. Thank God for Brother Freddie giving us the grace and us in with a prayer, opening prayer. How was everybody's week? Good?
Yep.
Yours good? All right. My sister Diane, how was yours?
Busy.
It was busy? Well, look, we're here, right? We're here. I want to go ahead and go into your pages. We should be starting on page 7. You're absolutely correct. At the bottom. So, what is the first? What is the title? What is it talking about? So we got some serious things to talk about today. Testing, right? Testing. So, this has been a trying week for all of us. All of us. But God allows us to go through tests, right? Why do you think He allows us to go through tests? Anybody?
Probably strengthen our faith in Him.
Strengthen our faith.
Mm-hmm.
Because it all goes together, like what Brother Freddie's saying, but He's conformed us to the image of His Son, so we have to go through trials, and He shows us how we're going to react. He already knows, but how we're going to see ourselves, and we need to mature, polish up a little bit. We didn't take it so good.
Right. And we've been talking about King Herod, and his evil ways. And we read that he was one of those persons that was he resented love. He resented love, and do y'all remember what he did to James? He beheaded him. Correct. He beheaded him. Right. And in the Bible, it's recorded that he was not just he was not the only one. There was only one other person that was beheaded. Anybody know who that is? This little. You said Paul? It was Judas. Judas. He was the only other ones that was beheaded. But James was put to death by the sword by Herod. by King Herod. And that's in Acts 12:2, if you want to look that up. Acts 12:2. But he resented and envied the love of his subjects. He even murdered his own family. He murdered his wife, their two sons, his brother-in-law, mother-in-law, and even his wife's grandfather. I mean, this guy was just evil, wasn't he? Evil, evil. But God lets us go through tests for a reason. James went through his test, and his test ended up being the outcome being where he was beheaded. But he allows us to go through tests. So I'm going to ask, why do you think God allows us to go through tests? And I mean, like real bad tests, like when you think something is really, really bad, to make you stronger, to make you stronger. Absolutely, to make you stronger, and that's absolutely right. Could make you stronger. Now, why do you think? Why do you think? Do you think it's the devil that's testing you, or do you think God is allowing it to be tested, allowing you to be tested?
Thank God allows it.
Like he did no without that.
Okay, so He allows us to get tested. So, in both the Old and the New Testament, the words translated "test" means to provide by trial. To provide by trial. Therefore, when God tests His children, His purpose is to prove that our faith is what? Real. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Y'all agree?
Yeah.
So, in the account of Job, he's a perfect example of God's allowing one of His saints to be tested by the devil. Job bore all his trials and patiently, and he did not sin by charging God with the wrongdoing. That's in Job 1:22. So why do you think he didn't curse God when he was going through all his trials?
One reason I would say one thing is he trusted the Lord. He trusted God. He trusted in God, and he believed in it with all his heart. He trusted him,
Mm-hmm.
feared him, respected him.
Mm-hmm.
He was his servant. He was, he was totally reverent toward God. He was, he understood the Lord. He understood. He didn't understand what was happening, but he trusted God. He had faith.
Mm-hmm. Anybody else?
Yes, he had deep faith. Yes.
He had deep faith?
Very deep.
Very deep. Okay, anybody else? How do you think that he made in Job going through all his trials, how do you think that made him feel as a person? How would you feel?
I think he was probably wondering why, but to himself,
Mm-hmm.
probably thinking, well, what did I do to deserve this?
Right.
He thought he did something wrong.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Bewildered. That's the same thing, brother. Brother saying he was bewildered about it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So he pretty much felt like he did something wrong. Right. I did something wrong to deserve all this. Having his family, he lost everything. Everything. So do you really think that a normal person would have already broke down first when his kids, died, then his wife. But how do you think he truly felt? Well, I'm sorry, let me take that back. His wife, because his wife was giving him. I meant to say his kids, but in his wisdom, or I just pretty much gave. Do you think wisdom played a part in him being able to accept the stuff that was going on?
I think it was more of his faith in God. He had been a faithful servant to God,
Mm-hmm.
so he was just trusting that God knew what he was doing.
Mm-hmm.
So he was just gonna ride it out, see what the end had in store for him.
Right, right. So do you think that him being tested by the devil made him stronger?
Made Joe strong.
Made sure, right. So what do you think he's going to do for us when we're going through our tests?
To make us stronger. It's gonna, the next time we won't, we won't mind it so bad. If we have an extreme difficult trial, we come out, we see, we look back on it, and remember how Lord brought us through it.
Mm-hmm.
You won't be so bent out of shape about the next one. We can go through it better.
Right, right. So we're making you stronger.
Yeah.
So it's making you a better person where you're able to believe and trust that he's bringing you through all of this, correct?
Yes.
So in Job's, he bore all his trials. He bore all his trials and his tribulations. And we look at it and say, well, can I have just a mustard seed of what Job had? Because we get upset when we're going through some things and it's all over the place. We don't believe, we don't learn to trust, we don't learn to lean on what God has already told us. Is that just give me all your pain, give me all your agony, and I'm going to take it away from you. But in Job's case, he went through hell, right? He threw hell, just complete hell. And he bore all of that. Why is it so hard and difficult for us to just go, when we're going through something not even as similar to what Job went through, why is it so hard for us? Why do you think it's so difficult for us to go through this?
I think that with Job, his advantage is that of his patience and tolerance.
Patience and the time. Mm-hmm.
Our problem is we are a impatient lot.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. We want it yesterday. Even when we ask God for a blessing, mm-hmm. and it don't come today, mm-hmm. we ask ourselves, well, why didn't he send it to me yesterday? I need it.
Right. Right.
And
right.
then once we get that blessing, when we do get it, we throw it away. We train on it because, well, it's not what I wanted. It's late coming. I wanted it. And
well, we want more. In other words, you said
you tell him you could have kept this for yourself.
Mm-hmm. So, in other words, you wanted more, correct?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, do you feel that? And I'm just asking, do you feel that if we were able to go through some turbulent things, which we all have, right? And y'all here because of the grace, right? The grace of God brought you through all of that, through everything that you done went through. We done got gray hairs about it, but we're here, right? Gray haired and all, or in my case, none, right? But we've been through hell and high water, in our lives. It's been turbulent. Go to James. Let's go to James 1, 2 through 3. James 1, 2 through 3. James 1. James 1, 2 through 3. It says, my brother, count it all joy when you fall into various trials. How can we do that? How can we count in all joy when we're going through various trials? How are we able to do that?
With the Lord's help. That's the only way you can do it.
Right. And trusting in him, right? And verse 3, knowing that the testing of your faith produces what? Brother Leroy said, patience. He had patience. He had patience, knowing that the test of your faith produces patience. We're going to go through trials. We're going to go through tribulations, guys. We're going to go through them. We're going to go through pain and agony. But it's just tests. It's tests. We're going to go through them. And it's testing your faith. So when you're proclaiming that I am a child of God, and you have to really mean that when you're going through your tests. When you're going through your test, you got to truly mean that I am a child of God. And I believe that I'm going through this test for a reason, because it's there to make me stronger, wiser. It's a test. We're going to go through tests. And you're not the only one in life that's going through tests. All of us are going through tests daily, weekly, monthly. We're going through tests. He's not going to make it easy for us. You're saying you're a child of God, you got to believe it and you got to trust him. But it's not easy. It's not easy for none of us. Do you think just because I feel that just because I just got ordained that I'm invincible and not going to go through tests? I'm going through tests. He's testing my faith. He's testing to see if I proclaim whatever I'm proclaiming to be, that am I that person? He's testing me every day on a daily basis. And it comes from anybody. Work, family, friends. You're going to go through tests. He says, knowing that the test is coming, your faith is going to be tested. So be patient. Be patient. Now go to Peter. 1 Peter 6 and 7. 1 Peter 6 and 7. Someone read 6 and 7 for me when y'all get it. 1 Peter 1, 6 and 7.
All right, verse 6 and 7. In this you greatly rejoice, though now for a little while, if need be, you have been grieved by various trials, that the genuineness of your faith, being much more precious than gold that perishes, though it is tested by fire, may be found to praise, honor, and glory at the revelation of Jesus Christ.
Go back to verse 6. In this you greatly rejoice, through now for a little while, if need be, that you have been grieved by various trials. What does that mean, y'all? What does that mean?
It means even though you know you're going to be tried, sometimes you wonder why.
Mm-hmm.
Why it's so difficult. And for me, what makes me wonder why sometimes when you see the dope dealer flashing his money, buying cars, and you struggling. So, why is his life so wonderful and yours is so full of trials and
Tribulations.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So in verse 7, it says that the genuineness of your faith being much more precious than gold that perishes. What is that? What does that mean to you? In verse 7. The genuineness of your faith being much more precious than gold.
The gold is valuable, but it can't buy you into heaven. And it might make your life better for a while on earth, but it has no
bearing on your faith.
Yeah.
So it's just like you just said. You said, I look at it and I see these drug dealers flashing their stuff. It's not going to be forever. It's not going to be. It's just for a little while. Yeah. But your faith outweighs all of that. Your faith outweighs all of that. The genuineness of your faith being much more precious than gold that perishes, because gold perishes, right? How many gold chains or gold watches have you had and it's not gold anymore? Huh?
Everything is tried by fire.
So all that gold that you thought you was flashing is gone. Now your faith is what is your faith. Now your faith is what's carrying you through. Your faith is carrying, not the gold, because again, the gold will go away. People will go away. God is here forever. Amen? Amen. He's here forever. So your faith being much more precious than gold that perishes, though it is tested by fire, may be found to praise, honor, and glory at the revelation of Jesus Christ. The end point is being where? In heaven, right? Mm-hmm. With who? So magnifying and trusting and believing all of this stuff that we have material-wise is going to go away. So do you say, let me see, do I live in the lifestyle of the rich and famous right now and don't worry about faith? Is that the way we should be living?
That's the way we should be.
We should be living by our faith, not going off of what we have material-wise and what everybody else has. So God tests us, right? He tests people to confirm their faith in him. In him. He tests people to confirm their faith. Oh, you said you got faith? Let's test. You say you got faith of more than a mustard seed? Let's test it. You believe in me and you trust in me? Let's test it. You want to walk on water? Let's test it. He's testing our faith. Do you truly believe and trust in the Lord? Do you really, truly believe and trust in the Lord? Your water's turned off. What do? Panic. Trust in the Lord. Trust in the Lord. Trust. Don't go write a what do you call it? Payday. Don't get a payday loan. Trust. You never know who's going to be able to step up and say, okay, you know what, brother? I got you. We have to trust. God tests people to confirm their faith in him. It is affirmed in Hebrews 11:16. It says that without faith, we cannot what? Please God. It's impossible, right? It's impossible. Without faith, we cannot please him. What is that saying to y'all personally? What is that saying to y'all?
Our faith really is more precious than gold, because that's what it's all about. If we lose faith in God, we'll hang our heads and distrust. But we keep the faith up, and we'll trust, and we'll say, bring it up, bring on the trial, and Bible take me through it. And I'll do better this time than last time.
Now, think of this. Every single time, and tell me if I'm wrong, that you say, I trust in God, I believe in God, you start having tests.
What was that?
I said, some of the times when you are praising God and you're saying, I believe and I trust in God, is when you start seeing tests coming right in front of your face. Because it's like you are, I'm not saying this, you're not challenging God. You're not challenging him. You're just saying, I believe and I really trust in him, right? But a test comes, what do? Do you pass or fail?
Well, I think that test can come at an extraordinary time.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning that when we say that we have the faith and we trust in God, we expect an angel something will float around in front of us.
Mm-hmm.
But when this trust is, we profess that we believe in the Almighty,
Mm-hmm.
and then we go out here and refuse to speak to someone and look the other way, keep from speaking to them.
Mm-hmm.
Traffic is backed up and you only moving 2 car lengths at a time, and we refuse to let the other person merge in with it. That's a test right there.
Mm-hmm.
When you go in the supermarket and or a store period, and you see see a wallet laying around, you pick it up and you look at it to see what identification it is.
Mm-hmm.
If there's no one else around, do you put it in your pocket or do you turn it into the cashier?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the manager or
Mm-hmm.
whoever.
Mm-hmm.
Or do you drop it in the mailbox? It's that is a test of faith.
Right. It is. It is. Those are all tests. Those are all tests. And oh, go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry.
As we grow in faith, the more tests and trials and tribulations we get.
Mm-hmm. Right. That's what I'm saying.
That's the only way. That's not how we mature.
Right.
But the greater the trial and tribulation, as you go up the chain of salvation,
Mm-hmm.
the same test that you survive, it's gonna be much greater because your faith has gotten better, stronger, and more anticipated.
And that's what I'm saying. As soon as you start saying and you start confessing it with your mouth that I am a child of God and I am doing this and that, you start going through a lot of tests. And just like he said, you could be walking in a supermarket, you found a wallet. Do you take that wallet if you see it got a lot of cash in it? Do you take the wallet knowing you broke? Do you take that money and say, okay, this is mine now? Or do you turn it in? Those are tests. And they come at various times when you least expect it. Least expected. You riding in the car, and next thing you know, somebody cussing you out. For what? What did I do? Did you cuss them back out? Did your anger come back out? So God tests people to confirm their faith in him. Throughout, like I said, throughout the scriptures, God has always tested people in order to confirm that indeed they have faith in him.
I had an experience like that. This lady that was, well, everybody was over us because I was a janitor.
Mm-hmm.
Election state every county government.
Mm-hmm.
Well, one of the floors that I cleaned, this woman lost her wallet. And my supervisor came up and asked, to look around, asked me if I cleaned up there. And I said, no, I haven't got there yet. So I go down there and I look. Get down on my hands and knees, look up under her desk, and there's her wallet.
Mm-hmm.
I pull it out, and she was outside. Take it out there and give it to her on outside the room. And my supervisor, she's going to give you a reward. She said, I looked under, how did you find it? As if
You
I
took
had
it.
it already,
Yeah.
and I hadn't even been down on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
So, that hurt my feelings.
Right.
I found your wallet, and you almost accusing me of having your wallet, and I wasn't even down there when you lost your wallet.
Mm-hmm.
So, that was a test of my faith.
Twice.
Yeah, she didn't appreciate what you did.
Mhm.
Yeah, I always said something.
The Lord tested you in this man around a woman.
Right. So look, you went through a test right there because she was looking at you like, oh, wait a minute. I know for a fact I looked under there.
Yeah.
I looked under there. Let me see. I looked under here. It ain't there. Brother Freddie came around the table. Freddie coming and, oh, there's your wallet right here. Oh, so what could it have been? She could have been what? Russian?
Yeah, that happened to me the other day.
She might have. Okay, so she rusted, overlooked it, right? Overlooked it, and
She thought somebody had a wallet.
had a wallet.
Yeah, she's full of anxiety about it.
That's where that patience comes
Right,
in.
right.
Just because you look, that doesn't mean you see.
That's right.
Mhm.
That's right. It's
You
anxiety.
look very bland.
Anxiety will blind you.
Make out his retaliation was that he said he started getting mad
Right.
because she automatically assumed that he had it anyway.
Yeah.
But is that human nature for us to just automatically get upset about it? Because now you're thinking that I took your wallet and I know I didn't.
Certain people.
That's a test though, right?
Yeah. Certain people, they full of that. Yeah.
That was a test though. You know what, ma'am? I'm sorry. I did find your wallet, but I did not take your wallet. You know, maybe you overlooked it when you looked under there, rushing, but I didn't take it.
But why did he have to apologize though? He was just doing what a supervisor said. He's gonna clean up anyway. So
Yeah.
he's gonna find it. So why is he saying, here's your wallet? She the one that had the bad attitude for him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes it makes you hell. I should just left it where it was.
But look, the only reason I said that is because he has said that he got mad about it. He got upset about it. So instead of getting upset about it, you can still be polite about it because you're gonna make them feel even worse when you explain to them. Look, I'm sorry, I didn't take your wallet. I did find it under here. Maybe you looked, but you probably was rushing. And then she's gonna feel like what?
She still don't feel like
He stole it, right? either way it goes, it's not on his conscience. He's not upset.
No, he's not. But the way the reaction from us would make him wow.
Right. Right.
We say, wow, good thing I am a Christian.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So usually those who pass the test learn endurance and patience. Because you have to learn endurance. You got to learn patience to have it. You got to have trials. You got to have tribulations to learn patience. Right?
That happened twice. I was on another floor and I found this guy's wallet and I gave it to him. So, I looked at it, saw it was him, and I knew him. I went and gave it to him. First thing he did is open it. Yeah, he said, "Oh, my money's still here."
Mm-hmm.
Now that really, well, you think I'm gonna steal your money, then hand you your wallet back?
Mm-hmm.
But I went on, did my job. So it just hurt my feelings.
It hurt your feelings. Yeah, right.
So
Absolutely.
you think I'm a thief?
Right.
You think either they hired me down here to work,
Uh-huh.
because I'm a thief?
Right. So in James 1:3, in James 1:3, where he went through all those trials and went through tribulations, and just like you said, he was rewarded. He was rewarded.
But the thing is, we should, as Christians, realize we're not going to get a human reward most of the time.
Mm-hmm. Right.
As long as God sees it.
Right.
We always think man, a lot of times man still curse you or hold it against you.
Mm-hmm.
But as long as God see what you're doing, that's the main thing.
Right.
And we have to remember that. And it's hard though, especially like you said, when you try to do your best and you help that person out and they still accuse you and curse you, that's a tough pill to swallow.
Yeah, it is.
And I like I say, I don't know, I'm not always successful with it.
Yeah, we're not always successful when it comes to that, right?
Yeah.
We're not always successful. We try, but we're not always successful when it comes to, having our trials and tribulations tested. Okay? We try our best, We try our best, but it just sometimes it just doesn't. It doesn't. I don't want to say we try our best. Amen. And sometimes we do. We fail. Sometimes we do.
We're using the Christian attitude of, it's not man, I found it, lady, here is your wallet.
Uh-huh.
She, in reverse, she carried the attitude because I hate to say that, I mean, I don't hate it, but I'm going to say it. It was a racial thing.
Yeah.
And it just comes out, I assume that's what I expect out of you.
Mm-hmm.
But they're really saying about themselves, well, you found and gave it to me. I would have given it, threw it in the trash if I took the money.
Now you wish you
about
would.
themselves. But the old saying is, haste makes waste.
Haste makes waste.
You jump to conclusions,
Mm-hmm.
and you returned it not because you were seeking glory or complimenting that. You returned it because you realized it wasn't yours.
It wasn't yours. Right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
So that's a Christian thing to do.
It is.
A logical thing, honest thing to do.
Uh-huh.
Right.
And adding to what Brother you were saying, as black and Christian, we carry that extra burden. Always being accused before the trial even starts.
Right.
So we have to realize that.
Mm-hmm.
We're already convicted before they even start
yeah.
doing anything. Anything comes up missing, anything goes wrong, they're going to look toward us.
Yeah.
The other day, I was in the store down here on Alexander Drive, and two black ladies, one working, one was a customer. So I was coming up the cashier, and the other black lady that was a customer said, "Did you watch the news?" I said, "What news?" She was on television at noon. I said, "Oh, it's 12:15 now." So anyway, come back. So the other lady said, "Well, now what happened again?" I said, "Well, do you see the big police chase?" I said, "Where?" And the lady said, "Where?" I said, "Over on Breckenridge." Well, I know some people live on Breckenridge. So I was wondering if she gonna finish telling me the
Story.
It might be somebody I know.
Right.
And so she said, "Oh yeah, it was a whole lot. It was 78 police cruisers. They were just, but the thing was so funny. They were just creeping along. It wasn't fast, just creeping. And the other like I'm observing these two ladies. One of them said, "Well, must have been black because it must have been white because if it was black, they'd been shot."
Oh Lord.
Wasted all that gas.
Oh Lord.
And come find out it was a Caucasian.
Mm-hmm.
But they had some other charges that they knew that he was guilty of,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so, see, we as black people, we can't be going jumping at
Conclusions.
conclusions on things, like these two ladies when they was talking, they'd already saw, oh, he was black. And it's on Breckenridge Street too.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen anymore because you got some Caucasians live out there too.
Right. Now, let me ask you, test. Let's test now. Let me see how God tests your heart. Go to Deuteronomy 8:2. Deuteronomy 8:2. Deuteronomy 8:2. And it says, "And you shall remember that the Lord your God led you all the way these 40 years in the wilderness to humble you and to test you, to know what is in your heart, whether you keep his commandments or not." Again, he says, "And you shall remember that your God led you all the way these 40 years in the wilderness to humble and test you, to know what was in your heart, whether you would keep his commandments or not. What does that mean? What does that mean?
Out of that couple million that he led out of Israel, Moses laid out only 4 people went into the promised land. That's because they were disobedient and didn't trust what God actually said a lot of times. They would do good for a while and then they would fall short with some this and that and other. But it just shows you that if you know how important belief was, they caused all those people to perish and not leave out of the wilderness because of that. Because of their lack of faith and trust in God.
Right. The lack of faith and trust. The lack of faith and trust.
And we got to realize that faith and trust, that's a two-headed coin. We got to can't have one without the other.
Can't have one without the other.
They work hand in hand.
It works hand in hand. Trust and faith. Trust and faith.
And you gotta have your faith without seeing your way out of a situation. You gotta believe that God's gonna bring you out. And if you don't believe that, well, you really don't have the faith that you say you have. If you don't believe that he will bring you through your trial.
Right.
Well, if you don't have the main thing, which is patience.
Yeah.
See, you can have faith, but if you don't have the patience to go with it, it's useless.
Yeah.
Now, how your heart is getting tested. You don't have to go here, but just Jeremiah 17:9-10. You don't have to go there if you don't want to. Jeremiah 17:9-10. He says, the heart is deceitful. The heart is deceitful. Y'all believe that?
Yeah.
Like the tongue.
Above all things and desperately wicked. Our hearts are deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. Who can know not it? Why is our heart deceitful? Why is our heart deceitful? Why?
We are originally born in sin. Like I say, shaped by iniquity. I mean, since Adam, the first man, Adam, Eve, the first woman, from that point on, and since they didn't trust God at first, when he told not to bite the forbidden fruit, it's been downhill for man ever since.
But what comes out of your heart comes out of your, well, you say your heart is kind of like your guide to what you do. You know, if it's in your heart, you're going to do it. And, I guess that's why I say God looks at your heart because, we are here because what is in our heart? We know the way. We are here, but a lot of people lost because what they have in their heart is not of love and in worship and believing the gospel. And their heart is just due diligence and going, just being well, I did it yesterday, so I can do it.
I can do it again. I can get away with it, right?
Yeah.
But we do things because we think it's okay. And then we think we can get away with it.
But you have limitations.
You have, and you do. And that's why you have all of these tests. That's why it's tests. That's why the test is there. The Lord searches, it just says in verse 10, the Lord searches the heart. He searches your heart to see if you really trust in him, to see if you really trust and believe in him. He searches it. He put you through trials and tribulations just to see if you really trust and believe in him. And it feels good when you pass a test. It feels really good when you pass a test. Lord, thank you.
Let me ask you a question.
Go ahead.
Okay, you said that he believes in your heart. What about unbelievers just do? What do you think they think? What's in their heart?
I believe that they think that whatever they're doing is right. They truly believe that no consequences. And that's why people do those things.
I don't think that's necessary.
Mm-hmm.
I think the reason when you think about the person that does something wrong, it's human nature. We assume that today is Sunday and tomorrow is Monday. This is what I'm gonna do tomorrow. What I'm gonna do such and such a thing. And tomorrow's not even promised to you. The reason you do things because I got away with it yesterday, so I'm planning on getting away with it today.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Mm-hmm.
After Monday and Thursday, I'm gonna do such and such a thing. It hasn't even gotten there. You messed up Sunday.
Right.
I think that I agree with you on that, Brother Mobley. This is what happened. I think my feeling is, our Lord is so generous with us. He loves us so much, so very much, and He gives us so much.
Right.
He gives through His mercy and His grace, He gives us so much that we don't even know what to do with it.
We don't.
And in fact, when we think about Christ being nailed on the cross, and the people that had seen many marvelous things that He had done, and they denied him. They spit on him, kicked him, stomped him, cursed him. We're doing the same thing today.
Mm-hmm.
We getting ready to go into a major catastrophe there in Russia. All because of greed. I want more. There's nothing wrong. They got right here in Langston. We got more blessings than we know what to do with it. And there is people right now. I'm going to get more. They're not even taking care of that they have.
No. And how great God is, He will continue giving it to you, giving you more.
This greed.
Huh?
Greed.
Yeah.
But like we was talking about earlier, even what y'all was saying, His patience with us. Look how long it took some of us to come on board.
Right.
And He's still patient with us here today.
Absolutely, yes.
Some of the better backslide farther than what we was before we joined, part of His leadership. But His patience with those on the outside who's not coming in, but he just could thank God He patient and merciful toward us,
And His patience.
He's long suffering because, like you said, He does not want not one of us to perish and then go. And go, He just wants you to know, and He's long suffering, but He is going to judge His world, and He's judging it today.
Mm-hmm.
And when He's coming back, He's going to come back with a vengeance, like He said.
Mm-hmm.
In the days of Noah, laughing and drinking, marrying, and passing away, and then we're doing it all today.
Right. And we're going through those things. We're going through them. We're going through them right now. We think, again, some of us, we think that we hiding things. You can't hide things from God. That's for sure. You think you can hide it from people, but you can't hide from God. And when you're going through these tests and you're thinking that, okay, well, I'm better than the next person, you're not better than the next person. You're not better than the next person. Like I told you earlier, I'm going through tests every single day.
We all
yeah.
We all are.
So no one is better than the other.
See, and that's another thing that we as people have a problem. We think because we got the religion, nothing is going to happen to us.
Uh-huh.
That's a lie.
It's like, I mean, to show, I'm gonna give you an example of something. The person that, you got a church here in Lexington, almost on every corner.
Mm-hmm.
And do you not realize there are some church members that go to certain churches, they can't come to another church even to visit or to pass, to spread the word because, oh, I can't go, that's a small church. Oh, it's over on that side of town. I don't go on that side of town.
Mm-hmm.
Because, those people, you know how they are, and then they profess to be a Christian.
Right.
I'm reading there about it was Isaiah about the beautiful feet, the pretty feet.
Mm-hmm.
I wondered about that weird. And then as I read and come back now, he was talking about they that climbed the mountain with the good news.
Right.
Good news. And that's the same thing as I think about when Christ was washing his disciples'
feet. Mm-hmm.
Because he wanted them to wash their feet, to stretch them, to pass on the good news.
To pass on the good news, right? Absolutely.
All these years, I figured
Well, you figured it out. And you just figured it out. Look, ain't God good?
I was wondering why he washed his feet.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
And to wash the feet, he's showing the servanthood, how you first have to be a good servant.
Yeah, got to be a good servant. Right.
If you're not willing to serve the people, you shouldn't be able to lead people.
Right. And look, and last week you heard me, but the people on the internet didn't hear me. But like I said last week, I had said, it's nothing wrong with washing feet. Your wife's foot, your wife or your husband, there's nothing wrong with it. But Sister Diane said, ain't nobody touching my feet. I said, there's nothing wrong with it. Everybody agreed except Diane. Diane was like, no, ain't nobody touching. You're not going to let, okay, so she would wash somebody else's, but wouldn't nobody else touch hers. Well, okay.
Well, I bought this machine, but you cannot massage your feet with. It's like a foot bath, and this thing massages.
Yeah.
And I offered a relative of mine that cause she was having problems with walking and everything. I would bring the machine out to her house, and I'll set up for you to try. I don't want nobody fooling with my feet. Now she can't walk.
Yeah. Well,
not because she refused to let me use the machine on her feet, but
yeah, it happens. We're going to end there, and we're going to start next week at Luke 6:45. Luke 6:45. A good man out of the good treasure of his heart bringeth forth that which is good. That's where we'll start off next week. Luke 6:45. Luke 6:45. Luke 6:45. And we're going to end. So we're going to get anybody want to pray us out?
Father, thank you for the beautiful Sunday that we woke up into. Bless this day to be here to learn more about your word, Father. Let's be joy to our heart, that it be strong as we go out into this world. We close this day, our Father, God, in your love and blessing name, in Jesus' name. We pray, amen.
Amen. Hey, again, I want to thank God for giving us this day, allowing us to see each other just one more day. Thank God for the air that we breathe right now. Thank God for the air we breathe. And so we're going to close out. And I want to say, again, we're ready for a worship service upstairs. We're getting ready for worship service. And let's enjoy each other. And I'll see you guys next week.